Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Now, I have a problem. I have no sign of my guest, unfortunately. I don't know, maybe there is a technical issue on their end, but there does not seem to be any connection coming through. So I'm not sure what has happened. I do know the link was accepted by my guest there a while ago. So there is probably an issue at the other end, but look, this happens, it's live, and sure, what can I do? But did you know that we are 1 year on next week on this stream on WellExpo? And I think we are somewhere over the region of 60 plus interviews done for the past 12 months. There, Clara, hello, how are you? Good afternoon. We seem to have some slight technical issues with, okay, hang on a second. I see somebody now appearing here. Joanne.
Good
hello.
morning.
I was getting a bit worried there that maybe you couldn't connect.
I was kicking a load of kids off the internet there so that I'd have whole use of the internet.
Oh, right. Of course. I never thought of that. Of course, the what you call it? The Wi-Fi, the internet, the bandwidth. Yeah. That's the word. The bandwidth. It was probably being sucked away elsewhere. So delighted that you made it today. So I didn't give a full intro because I was going, no, I'm going to be left on my own today. But to everybody viewing here today, yes, Johann Callaghan has joined me today, our sleep expert, because, of course, over this past 12 months, what has been going on with everybody only, and I've seen it online myself, couldn't sleep, still awake, what can I do? Anybody else having problems? Joanne, first of all, thank you so much. You're very welcome to WellExpo today. And sleep, I mean, my goodness, where do we start?
From the beginning. You know something, it's funny because a lot of people, when they come and ask me about sleep and, you know, how can I sleep better? And I say, you know what, your sleep starts from the time you wake up in the morning. So it's really important, the whole day, how you're living your whole day, your lifestyle, you know, having a look at all of that. And as you say, in the world right now, there is so much, there's such a heavy energy at the moment. You know, everyone is afraid, they've concerns, they've upsets, people are losing their jobs, kids are in and out of school. And, you know, contending with children. I have a young daughter, oh my God. And it's challenging, you know, so everybody has been uprooted in some shape or form. And our routines have just gone out the window, you know, between adults and kids, because we're going to bed later and we're lying on in the mornings when we don't have to be up at a certain time. And our routine is just out the window. And, you know, routine is probably where I would start with people, just getting back into a routine.
Yeah, and actually, and that was one of the things I remember, because we're a year on now, as I was just announcing before you came on, we're 12 months on now. And I do know that one of the first things that I had spoken about this time last year was, even though you're not going out the door to work, to still continue to get up at the same time.
Absolutely. And even, you know what, I practice a morning ritual, you know, for the first hour of the morning. You know, I make it my morning. I really empower myself for the first hour of the day to really set myself up. So I wouldn't necessarily go for my computer or my mobile phone first thing in the morning. But yeah, getting up at the same time every morning and practicing, even if it's just 10 minutes, if you do it consistently, really it's consistency that's key, because we're habitual creatures. So some people will say, you know, I call it the power hour or the golden hour. And some people be like, oh, an hour is a bit too long, I can't manage that. So you know what, just do 5 minutes. Just do 5 minutes of, you know, empowering yourself today, looking at gratitude, looking at movement, having a glass of water with lemon juice in it, whatever it is, you know, that really perks you up for the day.
Yeah, and it is, because it's breaking it down. Just always start some, you know, everyone says they look at the whole picture, as you say, an hour. I mean, my first thought when you said an hour was, holy cow, how can you do an hour? But actually, when you start with those small few minutes and you put it together, but into the other things, because really it's our, as they call it, this our circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm, yes. that has actually all been kind of literally nearly thrown by the wayside over the last year. But that actual rhythm that our body flows to and moves to, and everybody's is different because it's their own natural rhythm. What impact does that have on the rest of our health when that is thrown out of sync? You know, how does that impact on other aspects of our health?
Yeah, there's lots and lots of things. And it's a really great point, Barbara. It really, really is, because people underestimate, or they don't really have an awareness. They don't appreciate this whole circadian rhythm thing. It's like a sciencey word or whatever. But you know something, we've evolved with this circadian rhythm since life began for human beings, right? All living creatures, you know, plants have a circadian rhythm, animals and human beings. So really, if you look at the Chinese perspective, from the Chinese traditional medicine perspective on the circadian rhythm, it gives you a lot of more in-depth insights if you're into all of that energy as well. And I am. So with the circadian rhythm, there's a best time for you to do certain tasks during the daytime. So we have our daytime hormones, we have our nighttime hormones, right? And it's on purpose. We have these hormones on purpose. So, for example, cortisol and melatonin, these two work indirectly with each other. I think most people know what cortisol is. Cortisol is our stress hormone. And a lot of people give it a bit of a bad rap, right? Because, you know, there's a lot of stress in the world and too much cortisol, and that's fair to say. But we actually do need cortisol. We do need a certain amount of cortisol. It actually, in lower amounts, it's actually an anti-inflammatory, believe it or not, right? When it goes way too much, it's pro-inflammatory, okay? So it's that balance. But we need cortisol first thing in the morning, and this is part of the circadian cycle, if you like. It's highest in the morning naturally, because it's what gets us up out of bed. It's what has us be more focused. For me personally, I'm more focused in the mornings. And then in the afternoon, there's that afternoon slump, which most people experience. So that's another part of the circadian rhythm. And this is natural. And in the Mediterranean countries, you see many people having a 2-hour siesta or whatever in the afternoon, because naturally the body slows down at this time, right? But what do? We go and have another cup of coffee to stimulate us, keep us going. We don't stop to relax. And then, you know, you've got all these organs. There's the best time to exercise. Like, our body temperature is really important. It fluctuates throughout the daytime. And when it comes to exercising, our body temperature, the best time to exercise is usually in the late afternoon, because there's less of a chance of you getting sprains and strains and all this sort of thing, right? Because our body temperature is a little bit higher, no, only a fraction, but it's enough to have an impact. And it helps, there's less of a risk of, you know, your muscles been strained or whatever, you know. So it's the best time to exercise, believe it or not. You know, we have bowel movements first thing in the morning. Is
it different though? Because all of us work really to a slightly different rhythm, you know, because, I mean, when you think of it, there are some people that they can get by on 5 hours sleep.
Yeah.
I remember a few years back, maybe other viewers remember, you might have seen it yourself. Remember Bill Cullen, he was a businessman, Dublin businessman, and he was being interviewed on the Late Late Show. And he happened to, I think he said 4.5 or 5 hours, and that's it. And he is up. That was his day. And he spent something like between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., I think it was, writing and prepping for the day. I remember sitting thinking, 5 hours sleep? Like, really?
Doesn't work for me anyway.
No, it doesn't work for me. So that's why I'm wondering, when you say, okay, in Chinese medicine, there's a broad kind of best time to exercise or best time to whatever. But that is actually going to be different for everybody, isn't it? If their own rhythm is
absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because, you know, we have our night owls and our morning larks and all of this, right? So we have different chronotypes, it's called, right? So our chronotype is going to determine when we go to bed and when we get up and all of that, right? And that's okay. Now, for the night owl people, there is a very small percentage of people that it's genetics. But an awful lot of the time for the night owls, it's usually bad habits, just bad habits, and people can reverse that.
This is where I exit, so I can't say genetic. I just say I have a life of bad habits.
Yeah. So some people, they can't go to bed, like 2 o'clock in the morning is the earliest they can go to bed. There are people like that, right? Now, some of it can be genetic, but there's a very small portion, as I say. But have a look at your parents and your grandparents and see what their sleeping habits were, their routines, right? So you can start there. But also, you can try and work a little bit backwards, and it's just really getting consistent and practicing every day, maybe just going to bed about half an hour earlier every night until, or even 15 minutes, just in small increments, because it's not going to be a shock to your body, and then keeping it consistent and just see how that works. But really, you're right. So there is chronotypes. Some people like to get up early in the morning, but also it's all individual how much sleep we actually need. Some people need 7 hours, some people only need 6. But it's up to each individual to find out how many hours you actually do need. And how you find that out, Barbara, because you're going to ask me, is when you go to bed on a night that you don't have to get up at a certain time in the morning, so that in other words, that you can wake up naturally. So go to bed, go to sleep, whatever, and just see how many hours that you sleep and that you wake up naturally. And really, you should be waking up refreshed. So if you
and funny you say that, is that over the past few months, I have noticed that myself. One, I put it down to menopause. 2, I put it down to age, and 3, I put it down to kind of, sure, we'll just see what happens. Like when I sleep. Now, I have to say, I do get a really good sleep, but I have noticed over the years, I don't need as much because my children have grown now, you see, so they're all gone. It's really only looking after myself in that sense. But I have noticed that it has reduced in what I need. And I'm looking at a comment here from Kira saying that I'm a morning lark, even up at 6 on a Sunday. Now, our Clara, a Sunday morning, 6 a.m. I'd forgive you Saturday, but Sunday? I mean, I did that when the children were small, the 6 a.m. on the Sunday. But what would be the most common issues now that you would come across with somebody now? Because you just, and I know it's all online really now, but your seminars and your workshops and that, what would be the more common complaints that you're coming across?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Clara. I just want to acknowledge her for that, because getting up at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning, yes, well done. So well done to Clara. So it's all about consistency, even on the weekends, right? But the most common complaints that I'm getting now is, oh, Barbara, I'm really concerned now, to be honest with you, because so many people are struggling and they're really upset, and it's gone to a level now that it's they're desperate to get good sleep. And the anxiety is up here before they've even hit the bedroom, right? Because they know bedtime is coming, okay? And I really get that, and I've been there, so I really get what that's like. It's not nice. It really is horrible. So a lot of people, it's stress, Barbara, right? Now you can narrow that down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So many people are so much fear. There's a heightened state of alertness, okay? The way we're living at the moment, we have to comply to so many rules, right? There's so much that we have to comply to, and we have to be careful, and there's all of this, right? So we're on a heightened state of alert, okay? And then we hear all this news that's going. Now, I don't listen to the news, and I really, really recommend people.
Neither do I.
Good, yeah, because it's just bad news all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit of good news, but it's not. It's all bad news, and that's programming us. Like, it's really programming us, and of course, the body just wants to keep, your brain always just wants to keep you safe, and it's doing this on a subconscious level that we don't even realize, okay? So what's happening, Barbara, is, in my opinion, we've lost the ability to relax naturally. We just find it so difficult to relax.
And I completely agree with you there. And as a coach, even just within other areas, I absolutely, because when you say to someone, so what are you doing to chill out or whatever? Chill out? How can you chill out?
Yeah.
And it is that thing, finding that few moments to just
it's
breathe.
really important. And something, even like, seriously, the impact, and again, it's when you do it consistently. So you're talking about breathing there. That is probably the most effective thing that you can do, because breathing, most of us breathe from up here, the chest, okay? That is a signal, that is the message to your nervous system. There is a threat somewhere, because we only breathe from here when we're running away from the lion or tiger, like we did thousands of years ago, right? It's the exact same stress response, and it's the exact same chemical response that happens in the body, right? Your body doesn't know the difference. It's the same response. So that could be you're stuck in traffic. It could be you're worried about finances. It's the exact same response, right? Now, we have it all the time now, right? Considerably a lot more than we used to years ago. So when we're breathing from up here, that's that message where there's a state of threat somewhere, right? It could be emotional, physical, okay? If you practice deep breathing, even if you do it for 30 seconds, to start off with 30 seconds and gradually increase it every day, or do it a couple of times a day or whatever. And you can do this sitting in your car or when you're waiting for the kettle to boil, right? But really be conscious of how you're breathing. And you need to breathe from the tummy. When you breathe down from the tummy, you are actually giving a message to your nervous system. I'm safe. Because if you think about it, if you're running away from something, you're not breathing from your belly. You need to get quick breaths from up here. So if you're breathing from your belly, and you can feel it, like really feel your belly rising as you're breathing right down into your tummy. And then just long, deep breaths in, long breaths out. And there's loads of different breathing techniques, just tons of them. You can get confused with the amount of them. But you know what? Long, deep breaths in, all the way down to your belly. Just make sure your belly is rising. And if your out breath is longer, because you're getting rid of all that carbon dioxide, okay? They're all toxins. So even if you just practice that, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can do that as well. Put your hand on the belly. There's lots of practices that you can do. But I find, Barbara, people when they're going to bed at nighttime, we're so distracted with everything that's going on during the day. Then when we come put our head on the pillow, we've no distractions. We're not doing anything. We're lying in bed. So therefore, all the thoughts come into the head then.
That's it. And there's this constant churn. And then they go, but how do I turn it off? What do I do? What do I do? And yes, I agree that the breathing is a massive thing. And the best place to do it as well, like that at night, you are in bed. So you don't even have to kind of say, well, there's no point in me doing a relaxation now because I have to hop into the car and go, you know, like that. You're in bed. And it is the best place to start. And as you said, though, there a moment ago, that we can do that deep breathing anywhere because nobody knows what you're doing, only you.
And your body will get familiar with the breathing. So that's why I say practice that often during the daytime, because then your body will recognize that cue when you're doing your deep breathing, and you'll be able to relax more quickly. Do you know what I mean? So the more consistently you do it, even if it's just 30 seconds starting off, seriously, we have way too much stress that we're dealing with at the moment, and we need to get back to being mindful of like where we are right now, what we're grateful for. You know, if you've a roof over your head, if you still have a car, if you have food on the table, like really we got to focus and have a look and see what we do have that, you know, we can be grateful for, because we need to raise our energy. Like we really need to raise our energy and feel good. Exercise is so important for that as well. Get outside and get some fresh air. The summer is coming in. I believe we have a cold spell on the way.
Oh no, do you know what I saw on Twitter last night? Somebody mentioned snow. I said, no, please, you cannot. I'm just looking at the comments here, Joanne, and let me see now. So Clara, I'm not waking up refreshed though, not an apnea. I've had this checked. So even though she's getting up at 6 a.m. or waking at 6 a.m., she's not waking up refreshed. So what can cause that? You've gone to sleep, you feel, oh yeah, I think I've had a good night's sleep. Is that down to the different stages of sleep or the levels? You know, because there's different levels of sleep. So I presume each level of sleep then has a different impact on you as you are sleeping.
They all have their job. They all have specific things that they do. So basically the whole architecture of sleep is we sleep in like 90-minute cycles. And in each of those cycles, you have all the different stages of sleep. So you've got your light sleep, your deep sleep, your REM sleep. REM sleep is where you dream. And so your light sleep really just helps you transition into all the different stages. So you'll have that cycle. That's one cycle of all those stages. Now you'll probably have maybe 4 or 5 of those a night. Okay. Now for Clara, she's not waking up very refreshed, and I'm really glad she checked out the sleep apnea, because that is definitely one of the signs. Okay, if you're not if you're getting your 7 hours of sleep or whatever, you know, the quantity, but you're still waking up groggy or whatever, sleep apnea may be a sign. So okay, she ruled that out. So the other things that it could be possibly is in the different stages of sleep. So we have a deep sleep and we have REM sleep. Now the deep sleep in the different cycles, we'd have more of our deep sleep in the first half of the night. Okay, we generally have about 25% overall through the whole night, but most of that will be in the first half of the night. Okay, your deep sleep. And then the second half of the night is where you'd have most of your, now you'd have all these in each of the cycles, okay, but you'd have more REM sleep in the second half of the night. Okay, so my question is, so where the deep sleep is, this is where all the healing, all the restorative sleep, all your cells have been regenerated. Your immune system has been made. That's so important right now, your deep sleep. All your T cells, your fighter cells, so much is going on, all the healing, repairing, and that is vital. So as I say, most of it happens in the first half of the night. So my question to Clara is, what time is she going to bed at? Is she going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning? Oh, she said, no, she's a morning lark. She said she got up really early.
She's the 6 a.m. waker.
Yeah. So, so for the other people listening, if you go to bed really late, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you may be missing out on that deep restorative sleep. Okay, that's the first thing. So for Clara, it sounds to me like she's not getting enough deep sleep. Why? I don't know exactly, but that's where I'd be looking at. Why is she not getting that deep sleep? Now, there's a lot of people, they say they can get a sleep, no problem, but then they're waking up groggy or whatever. So they're not getting the deep sleep. So what is your stress levels like during the daytime? Because your body may not be able to totally relax to get into a deep enough sleep. That's the first thing. The other thing is, are you drinking alcohol before bed? Because that has an impact on how well you sleep. Really, mainly, it has an impact on your REM sleep. Your REM sleep is all about your emotional healing, all your mental health. We absolutely need that as well. Alcohol interferes with that. Are you drinking a lot of caffeine? Caffeine impedes our sleep. Caffeine is a stimulant. So that affects our ability to relax. Even when we're sleeping, like our body is still going down and down and down. Another thing is melatonin, which is our sleep hormone. It does actually reduce as we go older, but if you can still do things to keep your melatonin levels up, your sleep hormone. Sunshine, our melatonin is made outside when we get sunshine. We need serotonin, which is the precursor for melatonin, and we get that when we're outside. Are you eating very healthy? Because our gut health has a massive, like our serotonin. This is really important, the serotonin. It has a lot to do with our mood as well. Most of our serotonin, 90% of it is made in the gut, and we need serotonin to make our melatonin. So how's your gut health? So there's lots of different factors.
Yeah, because everything, everything is so intrinsically linked.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And even just there, and I can see Clara is saying, I go to bed before 10. And at this stage, Clara, because I have half your life history here now on your sleep patterns. We're all seeing it here on Facebook. It would be well worth having a chat one-on-one with you there for you to get in touch, because there are so many little things. And I know myself during the day, and you think, oh yeah, grand, I'm tired, I can go to bed. And you might feel physically tired or whatever. And you go to lie in the bed, and like that, the brain starts. Oh. And then I have to start thinking back on, hang on, what was I doing today? And as I start thinking back on it, I can actually feel, it's like telling your brain, okay, can you let that bit go? Can you let that bit go now? And then you do start that breathing. Now, anybody that has watched here before, I don't know if Clara has, is that as a breathing techniques are something I would be extremely familiar with, because I used to be a singing teacher and I was a music teacher. So the breath and how you breathe and all of that. Yes. So, it is something I do. So I would know myself. But when you were, I do find sometimes when you were saying that to somebody, try breathing, they kind of look at you and they go, but sure, I'm breathing anyway.
Yeah.
I'm breathing anyway, and you're going, no, you're like, really breathe.
Yeah.
And then you realize, actually, this is so, so important. And we do it naturally.
Absolutely. And it activates, and you probably know this, Barbara, it activates the vagus nerve, which is the longest cranial nerve, and it goes through all our organs and it talks to the nervous system. So it turns on and off that fight or flight. So if you're activating your vagus nerve, and you can activate it by singing as well, singing that vibration kind of, gargling, there's loads of ways you can activate it. But breathing is a very effective way. And it's literally saying, the vagus nerve is talking to the nervous system saying, oh, she's safe now. And it's talking to all the organs in the body, because all your organs are affected too.
And as you just said there, fight or flight. And unfortunately, these past 12 months, we are practically in a fight, kind of protective, so our whole body, and you will see people even going out, their shoulders are up, and they're walking because their neck and everything is tense as well. So I want to add one more really quick thing as well, that you said the shoulders going up from a habit, and posture really tells a lot about how you're feeling. A lot of people are the head down,
everyone's on the mobile devices and more screens and what have you, and the head is down. And that is like your body position, your head been down. What do depressed people do? They have their head down all the time, you know? Yeah. So be mindful if you're on mobile devices and screens, like if your head is down, do you know what I mean? So it's like, it may sound silly, but it has a massive impact.
Oh no, absolutely. My goodness, Joanne, I can't believe.
We're at 25,
We're 25 minutes in, and I'm still going, but I didn't ask her this. But what I do know is, and I have your website link going across the bottom there, Great. Is that you do workshops and webinars and consultations, and anybody can get in touch with you via your website. Have you anything coming up now soon that you want to let everybody know about?
I'm working with Caroline McDonough, who's a nutritionist. And remember what I said about the gut health? Really, really important, okay, for all those neurotransmitters. So we're doing a 6-week course. It's with Your Holistic Academy. So we're starting on the 12th of April. There's an early bird at the moment. We've reduced the price significantly because we do want people to have this information to really sleep well. Because you know what? If you're feeling well and you're happy and, you know, you're thriving in life, well, then it's going to be a better world for everybody else, you know, because there's too many people nagging at each other and blaming and all of this.
Yeah.
So it's going to make the world a better place. But the Your Holistic Academy, 6-week, it's a sleep and nutrition course. And it's a 6-week module that we're going to be doing. We're going to be touching on immune health,
and that's on your site.
Yes. Yeah, you'll get that as well. And you'll also get it on the Your Holistic Academy as well, yourholisticacademy.com.
That is brilliant. Joanne, thank you so much for coming on. Tell the kids, I'm awfully sorry. I just needed you for that half an hour so that Mammy could have the internet because it was so important. And to everybody out there, Joanne, because the comments, all those comments now that came up there, they will be on the Facebook page. Yeah, absolutely go in and pop in your link, your direct link. I know I've given the website link. Pop in the link to that course. I'm sure plenty of people will be really interested. I'll hop over to Twitter. I didn't have the Twitter page open here. We were on Twitter and YouTube as well as Facebook. So you never know, there might be some chats there. I see some other comments. There we go. Olive, no bother. Lovely chat. It was indeed. Sure, isn't she a fantastic guest? Absolutely. Clara, for all your participation. And Olive, definitely totally agree. Great points. Turan, what's Turan? Knowing how and where to breathe from is so important. Absolutely. You know, and Turan himself, it would be a technique he would use. Turan's a hypnotherapist. Yeah, and Donal, have you heard the warm bed, cool pillow idea? If so, what does it mean? Yeah, the warm bed, cool pillow. So really quickly, when we're in bed at nighttime, so obviously the room temperature has to be cold, because remember I said the body temperature has to be cold. Well, not cold, but lower. Yeah. Slightly, because all the sleep hormones and all that, they can't come out, you know, when you're hot. That's why strenuous exercise. That's funny. I never have radiators on in bedrooms. At night, we don't have the heating on in our bedrooms at night. Everybody just thinks I'm mean, but actually, no, I find you sleep better. Yeah, it's good because the temperature does have to be cooler to allow the onset of the sleep hormones, the night hormones to come out, if you like. And that's why strenuous exercise, because the core body temperature with strenuous exercise, you'll never get asleep. The core body temperature has to cool down. So warm bed, cool pillow. So the cool pillow is it's suppose it's the same, but you do have to have the cool room, and a lot of people, you know, if they might have cold hand or cold feet with circulation, it might be a circulation thing. You can raise your legs up, put a pillow under your knees. That helps to ease the pressure, the circulation on the heart. But yeah, there's a lot that I could go into there. I know we're running out of time, but yeah, definitely cool room. No problem. As I say, people can come back and watch this, and I shall send you the link. And anybody out there, if you want to sign up to our newsletter, please do. It will be going out in the next few days as well. And there will be links, of course, to all our talks. They say we are 1 year old next week. I can't believe I'm still here. Wow. I can't believe it's not butter. No, honestly, I can't. 12 months on. And that's incredible. Fair play to you. That's something. Still going. And I know you have a podcast as well, and there's a link to that on your website. Oh yeah, I see. I did your homework for you, Pet. It's all right. I had to look for you. And there is a link on your website to that too. So all the information, your workshops, webinars, everything is on your website. to everybody that joined us today, thank you so much. Do share it because there are so much information from Joanne there in
I'll
that
leave
chat.
I'll leave you with a little joke, okay? And if you lie long enough on the edge of your bed, you'll soon fall asleep. You'll soon fall off, rather.
You soon fall off.
I heard that on the radio earlier on this morning. Thanks, Donald. He told me to go on and have a listen. So yeah, if you stay on the side of the bed long enough, you'll soon nod off, or you'll soon drop off. That's what it is.
You'll soon drop off. That's true. Absolutely. Listen, to everybody out there, thank you all so much. And we shall see you all again next Thursday, where we are talking anxiety and how to embrace it and actually make it work for you.
Love
so
it.
That's next week.
Thank you, Barbara.
Cheerio, everyone. Joanne, thanks, Pet. Bye-bye.
Bye.